Kingdom of Navarre has been at war for 128 years. The war has not been with a neighboring nation. It has been with what remains of one. Navarre's western border, the Haegrillon Empire, had existed in a Cold War standoff for millennia. The Skyreach peaks are nearly impassable even by air, as the tall, jagged heights and crisscrossing winds make even aerial passage incredibly treacherous. Only the heavily defended Vallyuda Pass serves as a functional throughway between the two massive nations. A pass with 80-foot-tall gates on each end, manned by the best soldiers each nation could send. 128 years ago, everything changed. At the height of an eclipse, when all the continent was shrouded in darkness, a blood-red sun was seen to illuminate the Haegrillon end of the pass. For days, nothing approached the Navarran gates. No traders, no wandering minstrels, no adventurers, no dignitaries, not even refugees. Nearly 1 month after the Crimson Dawn occurred, the Navarran Gate was assaulted by creatures. Monstrous horrors never before seen in either nation. Demons, twisted, grotesque undead in the livery of the Haegrillon Army, and other horrors too extreme to explain, howled through the Vallyuda Pass and threw themselves at the gate. It took nearly a decade to push the numbers back far enough for the Navarran Army to establish a foothold beyond the gate, and over a century of fighting to cross the 61 miles of the pass. The Navarran Army was poised to finally break the Haegrillon Gate. When the Navarran siege engines finally struck the wall and broke through, another century's worth of warfare poured through the cracks like a tidal wave of cockroaches. There was no warning. There was no way to prepare. You know. You were there. When the night of slaughter ended, you and a small number of fellow recruits remained. There was no way to know if the enemy was finally spent, or if further waves remained on the other side of the gates. The only thing that was certain was that you were alone, cut off from the rest of the army, possibly behind enemy lines. Definitely 61 miles of harsh terrain from any support. Do you turn tail and head back to Navarre to try to answer for what happened? Or do you press on to find the secrets of what happened over a century ago?
Good evening, everyone. I am your dungeon master, and welcome to the show. All right, so give me a moment to introduce all of our players as I turn the volume up for them. We are joined by Lost Without a Trace.
Hello.
We are joined by Ace.
Hello.
We are joined by Greymane.
Howdy.
And we are joined by Morden.
Hello.
And we will be joined by Ari in a little bit. But for now, it's time to begin. So, how's everybody doing? You guys, you ready to go?
I am.
Yay!
Yep. Not.
No,
Ace is so
Liar.
excited he's lost the ability to speak.
I can't speak. I'm too ready.
Bacon, you ready?
I dropped my 3 into the character sheet chat because I had to think about it for a moment.
Okay. Dragon, thank you for being here. You're just in time. We're going to get started. So, let's get a little bit of background music. Okay. I appreciate that. All right, so a couple quick points.
You're all gonna die.
We're all going to die. Many of us have not tabletopped in years, and I have not technically GM'd in forever. But that doesn't mean that we don't have a certain set of skills. So first session might be a little bit rough, but please hang with us, bear with us, and we will get everything figured out. In the meantime, welcome to Navarre.
One went spooky, one went a lot different.
All right, so our adventure will begin in Vallyuda. Vallyuda is a military fortress, which is also a thriving metropolis within Navarre. It is on the Navarran side of the Vallyuda Pass and has been a bastion of light against the darkness that overtook the Haegrillon Empire for the last 128 years. We begin at Udal Cathedral. As always, the Grand Illuminary, Celadwin, is speaking to the assembled flock. Thank you for the follow. The difference is today it is not the assembled citizenry of Vallyuda. Today, the entire cathedral is filled with nothing but those about to go for the big push. The military's attempt to finally, after 128 years, reclaim the entirety of the pass, bust through the Black Gate at the far side, and begin to retake the Haegrillon Empire from the devils of Asmodeus that have run roughshod over the Empire for over a century. Today, you continue a quest which has spanned generations for many of you. Celadwin is an elf. Celadwin has been the Grand Illuminary for a century, was a High Illuminary for 4 centuries before that, and even by Elven standards, is exceptionally old. Remember, you go forth not only for your own glory, but for the glory of Navarre and the safety of all of its citizenry. Remember, in the brilliance of the light, there is truth immortal. And everyone cheers.
Woo!
The service continues on for about an hour, after which point everyone separates to different areas outside of the cathedral. We are going to start with Greymane. So, Gray, you are outside the cathedral, and let me put that up there real quick. You are greeted by a man in plate armor, but the color for his livery is red, not green. He is, in fact, from another order of knights, the Order of the Purging Flame. You've known Justinian for several years, and in several years, you have always known him to be a rather cocky individual. So, Dalthan, it looks like we're preparing to move out. I've heard an interesting rumor that not all 3 companies of your order are going to be on the front line. Have you had a chance to check on your orders yet?
No, not yet. I'm sure Captain Sidek will inform me when I need to know.
Oh, it would be quite a shame if you weren't on the front line with the rest of us real men. He strokes his flaming red beard. But, I mean, I guess one of your race, you can afford to spend more time on the back line. I mean, if you don't find glory today, you have a few more centuries to try to figure out where you left it. Anyway, my good man, good luck in the upcoming battle. And I hope to see you again afterwards very soon. He claps you on the shoulder, perhaps angling inward with the shot a little bit more than he would if it was just friendly.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure we'll see each other after the battle.
And he heads down and away from the cathedral towards his company's chapter house. What do you intend to do?
Well, since I don't have my orders yet, I'm actually going to go find the captain and try to find out what our orders are.
Okie doke. While you are on the way to the chapter house, you will in fact run into your company chef and close friend, Twiggy.
Hello.
Hi, Twiggy. How are you doing?
How was the thing and the stuff? I didn't go. Churches make me nervous.
It was a sermon. It was definitely a sermon.
Definitely sermon. Lots of the talking. Pep, pep, cheerio. Everybody feel good about going? We are going. We don't have to go if we don't want to go, right? No, never mind. We're going.
Well, I'm sure you can go if you want or not. I am kind of required to go.
I'm gonna go where you go, so we're going, right?
Hmm.
As you approach the cathedral, wrong building. as you approach your chapter house, you see the 3 companies of your order all prepping, not getting into maneuvers, but making sure that they have, caravans ready, everything ready to go. You go into the chapter house, your heavy boots clacking on the marble of the order house as you go through, and head to Captain Zydek's offices. As you get closer, you hear him bellowing to one of the chapter's runners. It's a load of Taraskoski is what it is. And you hear something get thrown against the wall of his office as you turn the corner.
Say to Twiggy, looks like he is in a good mood today.
Maybe it was something he ate. I should make him a cookie.
He notices the 2 of you come in. He quickly gives you a salute, and the runner who had brought in the orders on the scroll takes this opportunity to rather quickly dart out the door between the 2 of you.
I return his salute and then bow respectfully.
There's a wave, but I get out of the way.
Vanauth, thank you. Is that how you pronounce your character's name, by the way?
Vanauth, yes.
Vanauth. Oh, today of all days, the fates, they've chosen to f us. Captain Zydek is an older man. He has been a paladin for many generations. He has a habit of referring to you as young lad or boy, even though he knows that you are a century or 2 older than he is. But the point is that he outranks you, and that's all that matters. Come look at this boy. He nods to Twiggy at the doorway as he shoulders you over to the desk. Laid out on the table is marching orders, and your company is to be dispatched to the security detail for the siege engines that will be attacking the Black Gate. I've served with this order, in charge of this company, for 22 years. And in 22 years, lad, we've always been at the front line. And today of all days, they put us on guard duty.
He wanders up to the table, very kind of in the background, but she's got a mug of something, very quickly just puts it near the commander's hand, needs a drink. Everything is needed wherever it is needed. If needed be in the back, needed be in the back.
Thank you very much. He grabs the flagon and downs it really quickly. Is there anything in this that I should know about? GM asking.
It's a bit spicy. That's the +1 if he chooses to hit anything.
Got it.
The pleasant warmth as it goes down.
If anything, at least I could take comfort that the company my son is in is on the front line for this battle. Even if, lad, we're gonna have to be way in the back.
Well, sir, if I may ask, do you think they might suspect there will be some sort of assault on the catapults that will need to be defended against?
I mean, it is reasonable. We are being sent with a rather large contingent of archers. I mean, most of the lighter weight devil shock troops all have the ability to fly, so it makes sense to have some strong forces near the rear, but why couldn't they have sent those purging flame imbeciles instead?
Have you seen how they light things on fire? They should not be anywhere near anything as flammable as catapults. No. I would just be asking for them to do the enemy's work. No.
You may have a good point. All right, Haste, I can work on that. There we go. That should help. Well, if nothing else, we will be ready for whatever Asmodeus's lackeys can throw at us. I have no fears as far as the men of our company, and honestly, even the Navarran regulars. This is a battle far too long in the making. We will do what we have been trained to do.
Indeed we will, sir. We've seen some pretty solid fighting.
That we have, and to be fair, the hardest fight only begins when we get past that gate. Remember, all that we've done so far is secure the pass. There's an entire former empire on the other side of that wall, and I have a feeling that nowadays most of it has horns and tails.
I would agree with that, sir.
Well, our company will muster out in the morning. We will be a little bit behind everyone else as we will be taking positions with the siege train. But you are, of course, relieved of duties until then to make sure that you have time to make your preparations.
Lots of making to do between now and then.
Twiggy,
Salute.
you will never cease to be a source of amusement to me.
Or food.
Or food.
No eating the Twiggy.
All right. Well, I have things to do and more vehement letters to send to the Lord Marshal, so you are both dismissed.
I salute and bow.
All right. So you two can go and wander off for a little bit, and we will hide you, and we will say, Gray! No, Ace! Whoever you are. What are you doing?
Woo! So we just finished the cathedral thing.
Yes.
We're all just kind of wandering. Well, having kind of heard Luther fall asleep halfway through the cathedral, I would have had kind of nudged him awake during it, just like a sharp elbow to the ribs, in his head, just kind of like I have telepathy, so in his head I'm like, all right, you got to put on a show of face, even if you don't care. But afterwards, I would have just wandered out and just kind of.
What? Huh?
Afterwards, I probably would have just wandered and are there other, like, is there anybody like me, or am I kind of the one sent on this kind of task to do the documentation?
Well, we're going to get into that in a second. So
Okay. I would have just gone looking for, if there were other people, I would be looking for that. Otherwise, I'd be trying to figure out where I'd be kind of standing in the midst of it all.
as you are leaving the cathedral, Morden can decide if Luther is in tow or not.
Luther would follow him just for the amusement.
Okay.
You would hear him plucking strings on his viol the whole time because he
You
keeps it with
see-
him most of the time.
You see a runner coming up to you in wearing the livery of the archaeology.
Okay.
And he comes running up. He's young, maybe a 14, 15-year-old boy, very early in his studies. Kassidius!
Yes. Here.
I have a message from you, from Lady Emily herself. And he hands you a scroll.
Thank you. You know,
You
just
didn't
like
burn
very.
down part of the archaeology.
I don't.
Did
Well,
you?
okay, not again. It only happened once, and that was a mistake. So, thank you.
Mistake. Right.
Not now. Should I read this now, or does this need to wait?
Oh, it's probably a good idea to do it now.
Okay, so I'll crack open the seal.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check the seal just to like make sure this isn't some.
It
fake.
is a gold wax with the owl sigil of the archaeology impressed into it. Technically, not Lady Emily's personal seal, but the seal of only the highest ranking archivist within the archaeology. So
Okay.
it's her,
But it
or
is a legitimate.
yeah, it's her or 5 other people.
Right. Okay.
The
then
seal
I'll-
itself looks like it's expensive. Jesus.
Probably. I could probably sell this for a pretty penny.
Then hold on,
but
man.
I'll-
We'll just gotta cut around it just a little bit. It won't damage the letter, I swear. We'll try and sell it later.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So I'll crack it open and I'll open it and I'll read it.
But,
Okay.
okay.
Inside the scroll reads, Kassidius, I would have an audience with you before you left on the big push. It is to our mutual benefits that you come to my office within the archaeology at your earliest convenience. This notice shall serve as your passage to be allowed to enter the uppermost floors of the archaeology.
Okay. So I will like reading that, like I won't even like say anything. I'll just be like, and I'll just kind of race off towards the archaeology.
Okie doke,
Like just not even like kind of look at
Luther.
Luther. I think that's gonna take me a bit. Look at Luther, just like, and then just turn and run.
I missed what you actually said, or did you just mime something?
He didn't
Just
even
mine.
say
I
anything.
didn't
He was
say
just
anything. Like I was like, I'm out.
Okay. I'll see you when you get back. He would
And
literally, like, he'll actually follow him to the front of the archaeology,
Okay.
stop, plant himself down, and literally start playing wild geese at the front
Okay.
on his viol, just because he's bored. He's gonna wait for him to get back. He might as well see if he can get some money out of people going by.
Fair enough.
he'll drop a pouch on the ground and start playing.
Excellent. So,
I don't think
Ace.
he's allowed in there.
Ace, you enter into the vast library, the archive of all things arcane, the
I'll
archaeology.
kind of like dust myself off because I was like out with all the rest of the people, just like, this is too nice for me.
Let me put up your character sheet for a second. All right. So you enter into the archaeology. Inside there are 20 or 30 various levels of scribes and archivists working. Some are working on individual projects, some are tutoring. There's hushed tones all around, just a sea of whispers and muffled conversations as you walk through the archaeology up to the second floor, which is normally where the most of the research materials are, and then go up the flight of stairs to the 3rd floor.
This whole time I'm just like tightly gripping onto that seal. I'm like, this is not leaving my hand. This is not leaving my hand.
As you reach the 3rd floor, you in fact see there are 2 guards in the livery of the Arcanology standing by the doorway to the 3rd floor. I say doorway because there is no door. There is in fact a shimmering force field separating the offices of the archivists from the remainder of the building.
Okay.
One of the guards looks at you and says, "May I ask why you've come up here?"
Yes. And then I'll just kind of like go to casually hand it to him and then be like, probably not the right thing, and like delicately hand it to him.
That's fine.
Not quite sure what's going on.
He hands it back to you. He goes over to a statue, which is just to the side of the doorway, a bust of a great philosopher who you have no idea who it is, but he must have been a tremendous thinker of his day. The guard leans over and whispers something into the ear of the bust, and the force field in the door collapses.
Nice.
You walk through. You're not sure which office belongs to which archivist. You do, however, know that Lady Emily, Countess of Harper's office is the one at the end. It is about 1/8 of the entirety of the floor by itself.
Oh, God. That's awesome. So I'll start walking in and just like get a couple feet in and then kind of turn around. Just big office, right? I'm assuming that was stupid, and he'll just kind of keep walking.
He just kind of nods at you as you go past.
Okay, so I will walk in and just at this point, like just taking in everything. Like
There is an opulence and a splendor on this floor that defies anything you have ever seen. Ironically, it's not for the sake of opulence itself, but because every manuscript that you see on the wall is a one-of-a-kind treatise. Every piece of art that you will go past, from thumb-sized to 1.5 scale statue, are all masterful works of art. You can just feel the emanations of eldritch energy from a number of different objects up here, and there's so many in such a confined space that you can just almost feel a buzzing in the air.
I will, like, as I'm walking, because like I know my task is go talk to the Countess, like that's my one thing. But as I'm looking around, like I'll keep like slowing down and like start, like I'm gonna move towards, holy crap, that's the real task, and then kind of start like pivoting, and then it takes me twice as long to get to the end of the thing because I keep like, hey, that I know, no, hold on, focus, I'll be back up here someday.
Yeah. Several times the first thought through your mind is, this belongs in a museum, and then several seconds later you realize it is.
This is the museum.
Yes. You get to the office at the end, and you walk through, and the room, as I said, is a large portion of this entire floor. Lady Emily is not even in the room. She is in the balcony, which extends out to the other side. As you enter, a golden-winged, as in amber, not actually metallic, owl flies from a perch, swoops past you, and then swoops all the way out to the balcony. As the bird approaches, she puts up her arm, it rests, the bird chirps, and Lady Emily goes, Yes, Amber. I knew he was here. I sent for him.
I will kind of like straighten up one more time, just kind of quick little dust off, and just kind of like slowly like approach.
Okay. As you approach, she turns around. She is a woman probably in her mid to late 40s. Could be a little bit later than that. Could be much later with that. With magic, it's sometimes tough to tell. She is in a gown made of the finest silk. The headpiece that she wears has the mark of the archaeology on it. As she turns to you, and she goes, Kassidius, how have your studies been?
The level of accessible information is just, I mean, you can't compete with that. Just being able to pore over any book that I want and just kind of have access to it all really helps. Don't mention the couple times that I almost lit this place on fire, and the one time kind of did. But other than that, I mean, trial and error, right?
So, as I understand it, you are preparing to go on the big push.
I believe so, yes.
I have, understandably, very few scribes who are intending to join the military for this first encounter. This does put you in a unique position that you will be first to have boots on the ground, shall we say, in what was the Haegrillon Empire. I am interested in acquiring your services as a field researcher for myself and also for the archaeology, if you would be interested in such a position.
Internally, he's screaming.
Okay.
Externally, he's like, absolutely. 100%. What can I do for you?
Understand, there is no information on what the other side of the pass looks like. We can simply assume that a century and a quarter of demonic influence has rendered any topographical information we had useless. So, I offer you this, and she hands you what looks like a rolled piece of parchment.
I will accept it.
Okay.
Kind of unroll it.
You unroll it, and you recognize it as the campaign map.
We got a map, boys and girls. We got this.
This is an arcane cartographer. It will immediately put to paper anything that you see on your travels. More importantly, and she points over to a much larger and identical looking map that is currently stretched in her office. It will also update mine.
Can you, can you teach me how to do that someday?
Possibly.
Okay.
Additionally, this will be part of our business arrangement. And she hands you what looks like a bag of holding, in that it is the same size and feels like a similar type of magic.
Okay. I will accept it.
Okay.
Graciously.
She then walks over to her desk, picks up an identical bag, the difference being there is a sigil on yours, which is inverted and facing the opposite direction on hers.
So like a bag of sending almost.
She takes a coin, drops it into her bag. If you will open,
I open the bag.
you will find that these two bags are opposite sides of the same mirror. Anything that you wish sent to the Arcanology, you can place into the bag. I will rather frequently check so that I can remove anything that you have placed into the bag. You and your companions will be remunerated accordingly once the items have been retrieved and studied to determine their proper value to the arcanography.
He's speechless at this point. He's just like, in his head, he is trying to almost dissect the magic that would be necessary to do this.
It's... do you
He
have...
probably doesn't understand it, but he would be interested in it.
What
I
is
do have
your-
Identify.
You have Identify. Do you also have Arcane as a skill?
I do. Let me see if it's a... It is one of my proficiencies.
Okay. You are familiar that this is... I mean, magic bags are generally fairly easy, dwomers to apply. And they are very simple, common magic items. As common as far as magic items go anyway. However, the idea of having two bags that are linked into the same subdimensional space, you have never heard of in practice, and have only heard of like planar theory involved in how to try to establish such a place.
Amazing. He's just in awe.
You are familiar with Lady Emily's history. She is a, artificer of renown, and aside from her research, she has been known to experiment with, theoretical magic craft in the past.
I like it.
It is possible that this may be the only one of these in existence currently.
Okay. I will take good care, and we will send back anything of potential interest.
Thank you. I would also caution, I know that you are smart. I know that you are learned, and I know that you will believe yourself to be prepared for this journey. I caution you that the exuberance of youth causes misstep. Be very careful. The enemies you will face will be centuries, if not millennia old, and they are devious and cunning in their diabolical nature. There are threats which you will need to deal with, which no amount of study can prepare you for.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck.
Thank you. And I will kind of... I probably take up on her, cues. Just, maybe a second or two too late.
Okay.
Just so it's just ever so slightly awkward. I'm like, Right.
Oh, right.
And then
Yeah.
I will leave.
Okie doke.
The cues aren't quite the strongest with this one, so he's like, right, time to leave.
All right. So, you go back outside. Luther has made about 8 copper while you were inside.
I don't smell any smoke. We're good still, right?
Ah, it was close. I mean, ooh.
I mean, I see steam coming off your head, but I think that's more because your brain's cooking.
Oh, it's frying right now. Couldn't get a little more than this? I mean, what are you doing? You're slacking. Falling behind.
Not everybody's, in the music. Sometimes you just gotta... Never mind.
Hey, wartime. We'll try again later. I'll help him up.
All right.
Maybe feint at pretending to take the bag of coin before he grabs it just for fun.
Okay.
But
at this point, when he goes to fake to grab the bag, I would actually stick my hand into his pocket and pull coins out.
Oh, you jerk.
All right.
Is that a...
No, we're just going to let these happen.
Oh, shit.
We're just going right now. So you go ahead and you reach in and you pull out half of the copper coins that are in his bag, and you go to put it into your purse that you
It's no longer
swear you had on your...
Did I leave it in the building? I grabbed things. How would I have left something?
I don't know.
Did you see, I mean, when we were walking, did you see me drop it?
No, I found this bag earlier, though. Did you drop it outside? I mean, he holds the bag up.
He'll grab it and take it back and throw the couple copper back at him.
All right.
Attach it to my side.
Okay. So where are the two of you headed? Anywhere in particular, or...
At this point, I've done what I'm doing, so I'll probably just be like, "You're next."
I'm next. What do you mean I'm next? I ain't going to no chopper block, and they won't let me in there. Not after, you set fire to it, and I apparently ain't smart enough to be in this place.
Do you have anywhere you want to go, Morden, or you just taking a pass?
He does not have anyone in particular he is looking to talk to, because he's already he is already as prepared as he can be at the moment.
Okay.
And no one's given him any particulars that he should have to go see someone or has any particular orders other than show up.
All right, then we are gonna go from the two of you and go over to the other pair again. All right, where are you guys? Your last day in Vallyuda before the big push. What are the two of you doing?
Well, since I routinely keep my armor in order and my weapons ready-ish, I'd just be kind of walking around, checking things out.
Okay.
Oh, got prep work to do. You come with me. I very forcefully walk my little plant self back to where I have my kitchen set up, fully expecting you to just follow.
Okay, I follow.
It is a busy place. There are a couple of other people who are cooking and feeding people because the kitchen never closes until the last bloody minute. It's good that we're going last. More time to clean up. It's going to be great. I'm grabbing pans here and there and shucking things around. People are trying to get in my way, but I'm just like, nope, here we go. We're making with the cooking and the magic and things.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you before we go, and before you go and do the things. I got a bad feeling in my roots. Not happy. Even going last, not happy. So I want to know if you would accept this. And I hand you a small thing that kind of looks like an enameled leaf brooch. Like this, I give to you. You, elf, not in the forest. Me, plant, not in the glade. You be my glade, I be your forest. And then we both come out on the other side, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And I just right on your bridge and okay, done. Okay, you're dismissed. Okay, bye. I have cooking to do. Get out.
All right,
I
Gray.
leave.
Anywhere that you want to go, or anything that you need to get set up, or
We just kind of went around, look, see if there's anything that might need any attention to detail with organizing the company.
okay. As you go through, you see that there are 3 companies from your order, and they're all in pretty well set up. Everyone's just doing last minute checks because this isn't a surprise. This is an operation that has been ongoing for some time. It was known when, D-Day, as it were, was going to occur. So there's no surprises here. Everyone is well established, well set up. You do notice that pacing back and forth, like in front of the stables, lost in thought, is Justinian Zydik, the captain's son.
I approach kind of discreetly, hoping that he'll realize I'm over there.
Okay. And he turns around. He hears you coming, turns around, and gives you a quick salute.
Oh, none of that. None of that.
I mean,
So,
kind of been drilled into me since birth. It's a hard thing to avoid.
fair enough. Fair enough.
He has the same face as the captain, just obviously 20 years less wear and tear. On the cheeks, on the eyes, obviously on the knees as well. So, the big push. We've been literally training for this the entirety of the existence of our order.
Mm-hmm. And I get guard duty.
Yeah, I heard about that. I have a bad feeling that the Lord Marshal is trying to keep my father as close to a desk job as he can get him at this point. So that might be the reason why he's been put in the reserve position.
I tend to agree with you. He's not as young as he used to be.
Yeah. I mean, he means well, and he tries, and he does as much as he can, but there's only so many battles that anyone can face, and he's been in the front of most of them.
And he'll never be happy if he's not, though. We both know that.
Can you imagine the storm that he would have summoned up if the Lord Marshal had told him that he was staying back at the chapter house?
I think quite possibly that would have been the first time he ever directly disobeyed an order.
I think you're right.
He's discreetly disobeyed orders, but...
Well...
They needed to be.
Here we go. This is it. This is going to be arguably the first time we've been on the offensive in this entire war.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll finally make that push. What do you think we're gonna find on the other side?
Well, it's taken us 125 years to fight our way through the pass, 61 miles. I think we're going to find more of the same on the other side. I do think, though, that we've dealt a large blow to their numbers. I mean, they've been throwing things at us in that gate for forever in that pass. So we have to have whittled down their numbers somewhat by this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, both sides have been bled pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
But I hear you're going to be on the front line.
I am. I mean, someone has to make sure those purging flame imbeciles don't get all the glory. I wonder if I can manage to trip a couple of them on the advance.
I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there's a certain red-haired gentleman that will probably do a wonderful job of tripping himself.
If not, he'll trip somebody else, that's for sure. Well, do me a favor and try to make sure the old man is taken care of. Don't let him overextend himself, because we know he will, given the chance.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to make sure he stays unexcited. I'm sure at the end of the day, we'll both have plenty of things to do. And just remember, you're going to be on the front line. The guy next to you isn't going to be there, even though he's there.
Right. Well, stay safe.
You too.
All right. I'll see you in a couple days when we're on the other side of that wall.
Yes, we will. I clasp his hand.
He gives you a fond as well. And the two of you go your opposite directions. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, that's going to be the end of the first 1 hour show, probably, give or take. I just want to thank our players. Lost Without a Trace, Scorched Ace 97. Catch him on Twitch. Also talk to him on Twitter at Scorched Ace 97. Greymane Gaming with an underscore in the middle, and Warden 56. So thank you all for tuning in for the first part. This is the setup. Things are about to get sticky. So hopefully you guys will all tune in to see the next part. Remember that we film this live every other Tuesday on Twitch at Second Class Elitist, spelled out second, not like my Twitter handle there with the 2, but with the actual word. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. I hope you have had fun. We have enjoyed this opportunity to entertain you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.